So let's talk about the alternative evidence, clinical evidence generation,
Mm,
and what and if we can get in, any specifics in terms of what you were doing before, and then what the alternative has been.
yeah. So in the drug side, you have your traditional clinical trial studies. But with pharma, there's been such a huge push to understand real world evidence and what is happening. So in that space, 10 years or so ago, it started hey, you have databases, electronic medical records, you have outcomes that are in insurance databases, you have ways to understand, what you said you thought was going to happen in a small clinical trial. How's that actually playing out in the real world? Because
Right.
as you know, a clinical trial on the drug side is so controlled, right? So you try and manage or de-risk the program with all your inclusion and exclusion criteria so that you get, really understanding that pure effect of what's happening as best you can. But when it gets turned out to millions of people, you start to really get to see what does the impact look like. And so that had led to a lot of that activity in the pharma side, and certainly then translated into health outcomes impact, right? So if you said you're going to do this, what's the data say? And then what's the impact, right? So if you're asking an insurance company to incrementally pay more for your product, what are they getting back?
Right.
It's all about money. So on the device side, we haven't had that same kind of pressure. We haven't been in the same spotlight from a cost perspective in the healthcare system. I can't say that that's not going to happen. And certainly we're talking about it from a strategy perspective. Like, at the moment, things are okay. Or in some areas where, let's say in renal care, you get bundle pricing and care from CMS, right? So CMS gives you a certain allotment of money to take care of patients who have kidney disease. And so you're trying to maximize that money for the impact that you can have in their treatment. And certainly we want to play a part in that. So our devices, we should be better at saying, what do you get for your money?
Right.
Not only from a immediate impact, but a longer term impact. So it's causing us to think a little differently about the data we might need, the value proposition that you can say about your product. If you go in and you ask CMS to give you $40 million more for your product next year, collectively, across all the patients that they treat, their logical question is, what do I get for that?
Mm-hmm.
And so on the pharma side, that dialogue was happening on a very regular basis within the study world. I think as we look at devices, in our data-driven era, we have a lot of data about products. We're just trying to, how do you pair that together with a clinical impact or a financial impact to a healthcare system.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at an integrated pharmacy delivery system, right, from the order all the way to delivery, and you had an integrated platform from a technology perspective that managed all that, what time savings could you get? What error rate savings could you get? Things along those lines, nursing time, administration time, start really coming with data to understand the benefit of these devices.
I think on the device side, and the specific example I think of is COPD, respiratory failure type of patient. It's there's opportunities to look at it from a cost center standpoint in a different way, where you're typically looking at, okay, cause and effect and generating revenue from helping fix whatever that situation is.
Yeah.
But you take a COPD patient, they go into the hospital, and terms of readmittance. So they go from the hospital skilled nursing
Yep.
facility, and then how much money is lost because of the way the billing is done if they go back within a certain period of time. So how do you bundle those things? How do you add in, maybe it's non-invasive ventilation, different modalities that specific modality maybe isn't, it's a cost savings, and it more of
Right.
an indirect revenue source because of the money that it's saving. You have to look at med device a little bit different, I think, from that standpoint than the pharmaceutical.
Absolutely. And again, it's cost avoidance. from a downstream holistic effect, right? So you got to look at the entire system of somebody coming in, getting a device, and being able to tell that value proposition, I think will be interesting. I've seen a couple examples where companies are putting their money where their mouth is. It says, hey, we actually believe we can save your healthcare system X amount if you use our integrated platforms or our technologies that talk to each other. Let's say you got a pump technology, greater efficiencies by these various devices communicating together on a common technology platform, sharing data back to healthcare administrators in the operational end of things. I think that's probably a really good thing that says, hey, we think we can save you 20% on nursing time. We think you can cut your pharmacy error rates down by 15%, leading to less need to treatment for side effects. We think, X, Y, and Z. And that collective package, we think you can save your institution X amount of money, and we're willing to put our money where our mouth is.
So they're making decisions based on real-time data versus looking at it after the fact and then making reactive decisions based on those trends. That's
correct.